A special date for all our diaries is Saturday the 29th of November. And this is the Sheffield Chamber Orchestra concert at Eccleshall Church. It's a programme all about water. Many different pieces. I'm really looking forward to conducting the orchestra in music from Telemann, the Baroque era, right the way through to music from the present day. The programme is going to include a brand new piece for the orchestra, specially written for the orchestra, and it's by Dominic McGonigal, and I'm very pleased to say that Dominic is here this evening to have a little chat about his music and what inspired him to write this wonderful music called Sunset at Sea. Thank you very much for coming and telling us about it, Dominic.
Well, thank you for playing my piece.
Well, we're all looking forward to it very much. And the orchestra's already in our rehearsals had a little playthrough, and we're going to be doing a bit more detail before long. So can you tell me what inspired the music in the first place?
The inspiration's from the sea, actually, and two very specific images. One, as a child, we used to go down to Swanage, Purbeck, and the wonderful Chapman's pool, which on a clear day is absolutely still, beautiful clear water. And so there's that kind of stillness which I was trying to capture. And then the other one is being in the west coast of Ireland, where of course you get perfect sunsets about once a month or something, but when you get them they are absolutely amazing, watching the sun dropping down onto the sea. And I can sit there for an hour watching that. And that it's not so much trying to capture the image. For me, it's more about the sort of the colour and the structure of the very slow movement of the sun towards the sunset. So those are the two inspirations for this particular piece.
So it sounds as though you're very much influenced by visual images and being in a place and the whole experience. What about musical influences and inspirations? Are there any that run parallel with that?
I'm a complete magpie when it comes to musical influences. In the Cathedral Symphony, I sort of I listen to it now and I think, oh yeah, that's a bit of Janacek there, and oh that's Shostakovich, and that's Gregorian plain chant, and then there's a bit of Debussy coming in there, and then this bit's more like Bach, and it's not so much the sound as the structure and the form that I find most influential.
You mentioned Debussy, and of course that's one of the famous sea musical compositions. Another one by Frank Bridge, the full movement suite, The Sea, and of course the famous Vaughan Williams Sea Symphony. And you could perhaps hear tiny fragments of some of those, but nothing very definite. So the piece comes across to me as something very original, and actually the way that you're using the instruments and you've written the music, it does seem to have a very visual element in the way that you create the sounds. Is that a deliberate thing?
Yes, I mean I'm heavily into sort of polyphonic music. I love polyphony. I love the counterpoint of different layers within a piece, and the sort of conversation you get between the instruments. So actually orchestrating this for the Sheffield Chamber Orchestra was a complete joy, because you've got that lovely sort of balance and clarity between the strings, the wind and the brass, because you've got the two horns, two trumpets, then you've got double wind and the strings. So I've got quite a lot of the orchestration is passing the material between different instruments. So there'll be a little oboe solo, and then that'll be passed to the violins, and then back to the flutes, and then the horn will come in with a new theme. And it's a wonderful sound palette to work with.
And it's a wonderful one to be performing and rehearsing as well, because you've got the, as you say, the melodic element, and then of course you have the gradually evolving, changing harmonies, but you also have effects where you create ripples within the instruments, sometimes individual instruments, sometimes between instruments, which is very pictorial, almost like creating waves, the image of waves in the music, and that's it's a very beautiful thing to mix into the overall palette.
No, absolutely, and it's the structure of the wave that's sort of behind that, and yeah, I've created some quite rich textures with just 2 or 3 instruments by layering it and having the material overlapping, which creates that texture, which, you know, for me it's got the sort of the linear line to it, but it's also got some depth as well.
Now this, I gather, is part of a much larger work that you're intending to write. In fact, you are writing, but I think that's still work in progress, the rest of it?
It's still work in progress. It's happening. I have, in my notebook, I have sketches for the 4th symphony, for the fourth movement, and that's due to be on an album next year. So I have to write it now.
Working to deadlines. So, Sunsetter C, which of course is the name of this movement, is that the final movement, or as you say there's a 4th movement?
Yeah, that'll be the 3rd movement. That'll be the slow movement, and then the 4th movement is rather majestic. It's called Tide, and it's a big scale of the tide coming in and building into a massive finale.
Oh, that's interesting. Yes. Now, of course, you have written this movement very much for a chamber orchestra, and you've just been exploring how the clarity of a chamber orchestra and all the detail comes through very well. If you're looking for something on a bigger scale, are there enough instruments in the chamber orchestra to make that work?
I don't know. As you know, I'm quite partial to the tuba, so the orchestration of the other movements might expand a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Oh well, watch this space. So what other pieces do you have in the pipeline? Things that you've been working on recently or are working on at the moment?
Well, I have a commission for a piece for 23 Winds, which will be premiered next July, and I'm very pleased to say that not only have I written it, but I have actually voiced it for all 23 wind instruments, which was, again, it's another wonderful sound palette, completely different from the chamber orchestra, but just, you know, having 4 flutes playing a chord, just the 4 flutes, and then handing that chord onto the clarinets and then the horns coming in. It's that's a nice palette. And just recently had a premiere of a piece I wrote for Palestrina. It's his 500th birthday, so we had a little performance to mark that. Sang the Missa Pape Marcelli, which is a wonderful piece. And then I wrote a homage to Palestrina, a homage really to his Tues Petrus, so a 6-part motet, O Sacrum Convivium, which went down very well.
Mm. Throughout your comments about the music, you make quite frequent reference to wind instruments, and one of the other pieces we're including in our programme is the Seascape by Ruth Gipps. And Ruth Gipps started the London Repertoire Orchestra many years ago, back in the 1950s, I think. And you're now involved in the same operation, are you not?
Absolutely. I'm the sort of effective musical director now, so I conduct a session or 2 per term and get other conductors in. And the form is very straightforward. We turn up on a Wednesday night, we rehearse a symphony, play it, and then have a drink.
Sounds like a great plan. Ruth Gipps, of course, was a rather famous oboist in her day. She played, I believe, in the City of Birmingham Symphony Orchestra back in the 1950s, and wrote a lot of music for wind instruments. Do you think there's a kind of an influence, a feed there through the fact that she started it and you're now running it?
There might well be. Certainly there are some very nice oboe lines. And of course her husband was clarinet, so there's a wonderful oboe clarinet duet in the concerto. Yes, there's a little bit of that writing in my style as well.
So how do you feel about attending the first performance of one of your new pieces? How does that sit with your emotions, the fact that you are giving so much of yourself in your piece, and how people might react? What do you have in the way of?
Incredibly nervous. Yeah. It's like a performance, except that you have absolutely no control over it. So yeah, there are the nerves, and then again, like performance, once you're in it, it's right, yes, this is good.
Yes. And tonight, in our rehearsal as we speak, it will be the first time that you hear this music live. Yeah. I know you've heard it through computer speakers a few times, of course. It's never the same, of course. I suppose that would be a special moment as well.
Yes, and really special for two reasons. One, to hear real musicians responding to the music. And the other to hear the sort of the acoustics of real musicians, which creates a different sound from the kind of recorded playback. So I'm really looking forward to hearing that.
Yes, so am I.